This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Good morning. Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live, where Justin is barely awake. We gotta do this shit again. First sip of coffee of the day. Now I know how Bill Murray feels in, what was that movie? Groundhog Day. I'm gonna try to wake up. Libertad, Snicks, Sky Comet, Resonate. Good morning, DJ Dub. Yeah, where is Warlord? Warlord trolling us with his Trump love. Can Jim Jordan hurry up and lose so I can get some work done today? He is going to lose. Since I left you guys yesterday, he has not picked up any votes. He has lost votes. We know of 5 or 6 people who have said that they will not be voting for Jim Jordan. Did I reset my drops? No, I did not. There's some Scott Steiner.
Minus my 25% chance.
It was Caddyshack. That was the Bill Murray movie. What was it that the Dalai Lama told him? Googly. I don't even fucking remember. It's been years since I was in Caddyshack. I do not like poop humor at all. It sickens me. But when Bill Murray eats the what is the candy bar? The chocolate candy bar with the nuts in it, and it looks like a turd, and he's like eating it from after he cleans up the pool. That scene gets me every time. I give you a meme to get started. Drake is the type of guy to float in the air when he smells a minor. Yes, I just saw that. Apparently, a Jim Jordan supporter or a surrogate for Jim Jordan has been harassing the wife of one of the holdouts. It's the GOP. There's nothing I wouldn't put past them. Let's go ahead. We'll take Washington Post. I like Washington Post because I like James Holman, but we, as clinically pointed out yesterday, C-SPAN has a counter, so we may take C-SPAN when we get to the actual vote.
That, ultimately everything Rhonda was talking about. People do want a speaker, that there is sort of a path.
That the moderates will be moderate.
That the moderates will be moderate, that they can be persuaded that, that this is the will of the conference, and that Jordan can give enough concessions to woo them and win them over, that some of the people who are angry about the way Steve Scalise was treated last week when he was nominated for speaker, that perhaps Scalise will get his allies to fall in line for Jordan. That basically they see a path. It is increasingly a very optimistic and overly hopeful path on their part. It does feel like the momentum, if it was moving toward Jordan yesterday morning, has been moving against him today. The other big dynamic to watch, and I think it's important to talk about because it's going to come up right here at the top, is Mike Kelly, a Republican from Pennsylvania, has a resolution in hand that he's on the floor now talking to the parliamentarian about, in which he's calling for the House to essentially elect Patrick McHenry as the Speaker pro tem. That would not mean that he's the permanent speaker, but what it would mean is that he has a lot more power and authority rather than basically a ceremonial role to elect a new speaker. This would require Democratic votes to happen because Jordan's allies are never going to go along with it. But it is a privileged resolution, which means that it would need to be taken up, that the House would need to vote on it. So there could be this morning a vote for Jim Jordan again, and then a vote for Patrick McHenry.
And apparently Jim Jordan is daring his caucus to vote with Democrats.
throw their votes for McHenry to be the interim speaker without getting something in return, which Republicans at this hour are unwilling to do. But we do know that Jim Jordan, just at this hour, also does not have the votes. So these two pushes are underway on the floor.
Let's cover the threats that were made. Representative Don Bacon of Nebraska. Now, he is from a Biden district. Says his wife received multiple anonymous text messages that warned what would happen to his political career if he didn't back Representative Jim Jordan for the House Speaker role. Jim's been nice one-on-one, but his broader team has been playing hardball, Bacon told Politico. In exchange, that Politico's Olivia Beavers shared on Twitter. The unidentified texter asked Bacon's wife, "Why is your husband causing chaos by not supporting Jim Jordan? I thought he was a team player." Bacon's wife replied, "Who is this?" The texter said, "Your husband will not hold any political office ever again. What a disappointment and failure he is." Bacon's wife fired back, "He has more courage than you. You won't put your name to your statements." Another message, Bacon's wife was urged, "Talk to your husband. Tell him to step up and be a leader and help the Republican Party get a speaker. There's too much going on in the world for all this going on in the Republican Party. You guys take 5 steps forward and then turn around, take 20 steps backwards. No wonder our party always ends up getting screwed over."
The question of individual.
Here we go.
It's a very interesting.
We are gabbling in. Here is our invocation.
Coalesce around one person, but that doesn't necessarily mean their passion for that one person.
Invocation, that's what it's called, right?
To another member. We've seen that with people who are consistently supporting McCarthy, even though McCarthy just.
They're invoking a god.
We've seen that with people who are still upset with how Steve Scalise was treated.
Convocation.
It seems like there's a lot of
Convolution.
fractures in the caucus.
It's some kind of vocation.
From different people, but for now, there is Jim Jordan. He did get the most votes in their closed door session. So again, he seems to be the only one who has been able to gather that amount of votes. But we'll see if others are able to talk people into voting their way.
It was just a friendly freedom text, not a cadre. Good morning.
Seeing this morning, they're doing the opening prayer. They'll say the
Resonate. I wish I had a bonger to smoke right now.
the head count and who's actually here, and
I could use
what
it.
this morning might look like.
So it appears that it might be a repeat of yesterday, where all the members who were there for the quorum check are going to be.
Justin, good morning.
That anyone didn't come into work today. Although, again, they need to check the numbers before they start any process. One thing that's interesting to me, just kind of trying to read some tea leaves, I noticed that there are some House committee meetings happening in the latter part of today. I don't
Venus.
signal that they are going to.
Good evening. Or good morning. Fuck.
Or if they're just going to do one.
Incantation. It's an incantation. That's what it is.
Committees like Homeland Security have scheduled a late day meeting, so that may suggest that Republicans believe they might be off the floor in short term. But we'll see where this goes.
For the love of God, let's get this over with quickly. I've got work to do.
Of how this day could go.
I mean, yesterday we got an early sense that Jordan was not going to be able to stop. You know, he can only afford to lose 5 votes. And a lot of his opponents are early.
Now, I believe the entire House is here this morning.
Clause 7 of Rule 20, I move a call of the House.
Under Clause 7B of Rule 20, the chair confers recognition for that purpose. Without objection, a call of the House is ordered. Members will record their presence by electronic device.
So we will get the quorum vote.
Okay, so we're seeing this quorum call essentially, James.
So this quorum call is basically a bed check. They're going to make sure
Kelly,
everyone is there.
good morning.
One person who will be here that was not there yesterday.
It's Jim Jordan bound to lose yet again.
Congressman from Florida who is a Jordan supporter.
It is possible that we get a vote
There was, remember, going to be a
to
second.
empower McHenry.
It was delayed a couple hours. It became clear that
We'll be joined by a few Democrats.
votes. Initially, they were waiting until one of the Jordan allies could be there so that they could count on his vote. They wanted to make sure that they didn't lose more than 20 votes on the second round. An element.
It's possible that we have acting Speaker Patrick McHenry
last night is this
gain a little more power before the end of the day.
So Steve Scalise still is the House Majority Leader, the number 2 in leadership. It's the number 1 spot that's open. Scalise doesn't plan on giving up the number 2 job. He was the Majority Whip and the Minority Whip, so he has an operation. He has a lot of allies. Scalise and his team were really angry that Jim Jordan didn't really throw his full energetic support behind Scalise last week when he won inside the House Republican Conference to be the nominee for Speaker. And Scalise voted for Jordan yesterday, but then Jordan went into Scalise's office.
Is Biden is speaking in Israel like right now or just wrapped up?
Said, you've got to get the holdouts who voted for you. I think there were 6 of them yesterday.
But it appears
for me and
being very overshadowed by the fact that Israel killed hundreds of children yesterday,
leaked to
bombing a hospital.
Was being intransigent, and this made the Scalise team.
They bragged about their bombing of a hospital. Then when they realized how many civilians they killed,
saying, well, maybe I won't support him on the floor.
They blamed it on Hamas.
A Republican from Missouri. So I'm going to be watching during this first vote to see what the Scalise close allies do. Do some people who voted for Jordan yesterday defect? Because in that case, I do think Jordan is probably done. So you watch someone. I mean, Ann Wagner's late in the alphabet, but there are other Scalise kind of adjacent people, and. It will be anyone who is voting differently than they did yesterday will be the story. We know, for example, early in the alphabet, Ken Buck, Don Bacon both voted against Jordan. They've both said this morning they're going to vote against him again today. So
once again, they bragged about it after they first did it.
You only need
when it was obvious they killed hundreds of children
among Republicans, but
they started blaming it on the Palestinians.
Kind of moving. It does appear. I mentioned that Scalise was angry about kind of Jordan is this rabble rouser. He's someone who. Has an edge to him, isn't sort of the backslapping kind of chummy.
It would seem that the entire House is there today. All 432 members.
The Jordan effort to pressure
are going to be present today.
Backfire more. One of the things Bacon did yesterday after the vote was he showed reporters his phone and his text messages and his.
BB girl, good morning.
Text messages specifically, and
from his wife.
From his wife. That his wife has been getting all these angry texts that are from anonymous people saying your husband better vote for Jim Jordan or we're going to take you out of Congress and on and on and on. And Don Bacon was rubbed
very much away
by people sort of going after his wife.
Are you actually a cat?
And so he was sharing these messages to say, like, this is the last way to try to win me over, playing this kind of hardball. But
I mean, at this point, it looks like the only way to move forward is a joint power-sharing agreement.
Attacking Republicans for not being on the team, and amusingly using some of the very same language and rhetoric that we saw from McCarthy in the lead up to Matt Gaetz with the motion to vacate, saying, 8 Republicans are working with all of the Democrats to thwart the will of the conference. Now they're using that rhetoric to try to boost Jim Jordan, which a lot of these holdouts find not just ironic, but offensive because of what we've gone through over the last 15 days.
Update from CNN. Apparently the House whip, the GOP whip, saying that Jordan will be the speaker, calls the resolution empowering McHenry a non-starter. GOP whip Tom Emmer told CNN's Manu Raju that Ohio Representative Jim Jordan will become speaker despite growing opposition. Weird. Now, the whip is the person that is responsible for whipping votes, so he should know what the vote count is, and he should know that Jordan is going to lose. So, odd.
Yesterday. Remember, 20 Republicans voted against him yesterday. At least one of those is planning to vote for him today, or at least said that he will vote for him today. And that's Doug LaMalfa of California. Doug talked to reporters, including me, after the vote yesterday and said that he was only voting for Kevin McCarthy yesterday in sort of a show of solidarity with him. He's known McCarthy for a long time. They're part of the small group of Republicans from California. And he said he will be voting for Jordan today. But it's unclear how many others will break that way. And I think we're expecting more people to break the opposite way. People who voted for Jordan yesterday, breaking away and voting for other candidates today.
Theo, Doug LaMalfa, interesting, because we saw that evolution happening as the day went on, thanks to your reporting. I'm curious as to the logic behind some of these members who knew that by voting against Jordan yesterday, it would slow down his momentum, right? It would take any wind out of his sails. What does Congressman LaMalfa have to say about what his decision means for today?
Well, I think LaMalfa is probably relatively isolated in his, motivations. But I think you can look at several other groups and their own motivations. One group is members on the House Appropriations Committee, Republicans on that committee. 7 Republicans on that committee voted for candidates other than Jordan. So that's a big block of votes. These are not really moderates. They could perhaps be described, many of them, as institutionalists. One of them who voted against Jordan yesterday, kind of surprised, was the committee's chairwoman, Kay Granger. Almost none of these Republicans are in competitive districts. They're going to win re-election. They probably have to worry about primary challenges more than they have to worry about losing re-election. A lot of them are longtime lawmakers. But they were concerned about Jordan's effect, or most of them, I believe, were concerned about Jordan's effect on the appropriations process, on government spending. Jordan is a hardline conservative who was very opposed to cutting spending deals in the past. There are also groups of Republicans who are in swing districts. These are people like Mike Lawler, a outspoken freshman from suburban New York, sort of easing into upstate New York. And these are people who, voting for Jordan, could potentially help them not win re-election. So those are 2 of the groups that we're watching today. Whether those groups grow and more Republicans who could be described that way vote against Jordan today.
Theo, you've given us some people to watch out for and things to be aware of. Before we let you go, I want to talk to you about the chance of seeing Speaker Pro Temp McHenry getting more power and sort of having more authority through an actual vote.
Yes, there's been a lot of talk, for days and perhaps even weeks now about eventually empowering Speaker Pro Tempore, essentially the temporary speaker designated by McCarthy. This is Patrick McHenry, Republican of North Carolina and the chairman of the Financial Services Committee. There has been more talk in recent days about moving, as things have gone not especially well in the Republican conference, about empowering McHenry, perhaps on a very temporary basis for only a few weeks, perhaps for longer, for a few months. But there are a lot of questions surrounding this and whether it is viable, including whether, some of the hardliners who brought down McCarthy.
There's a warlord.
To empowering McHenry, who is, certainly not a hard right member at all. Would Republicans have to turn to Democrats for those votes? What would Republicans have to give up if they did feel that they needed to secure Democratic cooperation? And would everything just sort of fall apart on the Republican end once you start negotiating with Democrats?
Sorry to leave you alone with these lunatics.
Cause, more and more Republicans to say, whoa, we don't want to do this.
Apparently 30 to 40% of the population.
Appreciate it. If you can stick around, we understand though if you do have to.
When they drink coffee.
You're reporting, but if you can stay with us. Rhonda Colvin, I want to go to you right now.
It acts like a laxative.
I'm
part of that 30 to 40% of the population.
We're seeing the
You saw me take my first sip of coffee this morning.
And what we'll be watching to remind our audience is to see how many people are present today, because that will show us what a simple majority means and just how many votes.
I've not seen any reporting that anyone's missing. It should be 432.
Rhonda, the chaplain this morning began the opening prayer. This is Rear Admiral Margaret Kibben. She opened
432 representatives in attendance.
She used the phrase "a cacophony of chaos" as she did so. So talk to us about the mood there and how members of the House and Senate are taking this moment.
Yeah, I had to go take a Jordan just a minute ago.
Yeah, it's so interesting often to listen to those prayers from the chaplain because they sometimes very indirectly kind of highlight what's going on. You know, there has been a lot of chaos, and many people have said it's self-inflicted. One of the reasons why is because back in January, when the motion to vacate was agreed upon, that always was looming over the entire House, that at any moment the Speaker...
And I am so tired of them blaming Democrats.
...brings up that privilege motion for the motion to vacate.
The Republicans haven't been willing to work with Democrats at all throughout this process.
Now and I noticed it too last week when I was standing out.
If they'd made some concessions to Democrats in January, Kevin McCarthy could have become Speaker without
Seeing the tensions play out, even though some
the motion to vacate being written into the rules.
been in Congress around the same time.
If McCarthy had been willing to work with Democrats, he wouldn't have lost the Speaker gavel. What, 2 weeks ago? Exactly 2 weeks ago now.
They become entrenched. And I've seen many, pro-McCarthy people who are still talking today about being upset that 8 people were able to get them into this position now. That's one of the reasons why Representative Bacon has said he is not going to vote for Jordan because he doesn't want to embolden a small group of GOP caucus members. So you are seeing these tensions play out in the hallways. You're seeing when members are leaving these meetings that they're not exactly happy. I spoke to Ken Buck, who of course is someone we've been watching for days because
his name is Ken Buck and he likes to fuck.
He told me yesterday that there is a lot of frustration, especially after that first vote, and he did not vote for Jordan and said he won't until he hears some promises from Jordan. But you are seeing it play out throughout this entire process, and you have to wonder, even after they elect a speaker, whether it's this week or whether it's a month from now.
A month from now.
It's going to last, and how will they impact the dynamic?
If it's a month from now, that poses major issues because the government will be shut down.
I wonder if these tensions are just going to
a month from yesterday,
or just be simmering underneath as they keep moving forward.
Rhonda, let's talk about the business that Congress has on its plate. You talked about some meetings that are going to go forward.
You know what?
Today.
C-SPAN is actually taking calls. Let's go to C-SPAN. We'll do calls while we're doing this quorum vote. My dumb ass has been watching Washington Post.
Questionable sources. See Laura Loomer's Twitter feed. Also, Rashida.
Okay, well, let's go back to Jim Jordan. Why specifically are you supporting him?
Pardon me?
Why are you supporting Jim Jordan specifically?
Because I believe that he will absolutely seek the truth, seek facts, and try to...
I have called into C-SPAN multiple times.
Deadly and dangerous stopping of the energy sources,
the first time they really didn't like what I had to say.
U.S. I think that he will help to put the brakes on.
The second time they actually let me plug the Troll Patrol, and a couple people followed the channel because of it.
Kent McClellan, that was in Florida recently, with others that were also...
okay, we'll leave it there. Let's go to our independent line. Let's go to Thomas in Maryland. Hi.
Hi, I'm calling from Maryland.
I'm not high enough to call into C-SPAN. I'm sorry.
I started in politics in 59-60 with Kennedy, so I voted for Kennedy. I'm an independent.
Kennedy.
And one observation I'll make is this nation is so unbelievably divided. I don't even know if there's any room for getting together on either side. Both sides are at fault. That being said...
No, both sides aren't at fault.
I'm curious to know the Republicans that are dissenting from Jordan, what exactly is their objection?
Okay. That is a viewer there, and we continue on with your calls. About 80 people yet to register their presence as far as the call to order is concerned. After that, the nomination process starting. Again, if you watched it yesterday, name by name and person by person as they register who they will support.
He said, what is their opposition to Jordan?
Let's hear from Jonathan. Jonathan,
he participated in January 6th. He covered up sexual abuse.
Hi, how are you today?
Fine, thank you. Go ahead.
All right, yeah, no. So one of the observations that I'd like to make is that, I've heard there's a motion to put McHenry on the floor. I definitely don't see that Jordan has the votes at this point. And I think that the question for Democrats, especially for Hakeem Jeffries, is optics over government. I think that they definitely demonstrated that optics were more important to them when they voted to oust McCarthy. And I do see, I don't really see them helping to elect McHenry at this point when it serves, the mission of flipping the House, not to elect McHenry. But
do these people not realize that the Republicans will not give them anything in return for their votes? Why would they vote?
I've actually heard that he's going to lose.
Why would they help Republicans?
And I think that as it goes on, you're going to see more people start to flip away from him.
200 votes for Mr. Jordan yesterday, 20 Republicans pushing back again.
He's apparently lost 5 or 6 since yesterday.
From yesterday's election. How that number changes, we'll see as it plays out there. Again, this first step, so to speak, is to finish the call of the House and then move on to the actual voting process. Kerry in Alabama.
I tried to get you some Maynard, and he just ran off.
Hey, good afternoon, sir. I say we just get together as the Republicans and vote. If it's not Jordan, let's get it together and vote somebody as Speaker of the House. Too much stuff is going on.
Easier said than done, you dumbass.
If the Republicans would do like the Democrats do,
I'm going to call them demon rats.
All right, but most of the time they're in the wrong. And just say, Jesus is coming. We got to get ready.
Motherfucker!
They can't center around Jim Jordan. What Republican do you think they can center around?
Well, I don't care who it is. I do care, but we
gotta get ready for Jeebus.
Just one person, and let's get this stuff going. It's just crazy.
Again, you can see this play out on C-SPAN, our main channel there. If you want to keep watching there, perhaps you'd have to be out and about today. Feel free to...
Maynard was not impressed with that caller.
At C-SPAN now and on your computer at cspan.org as we watch and wait to see what happens on the events of today. We'll hear from Arizona. Independent Line, this is Gabriel. Hello.
An independent that will also be a conservative.
I would like to know why people are supporting any of these America First caucus people. Do they not recall what happened in the past in 1939 to 1941 with America First people? They were the ones who supported Hitler.
Okay, maybe we got an intelligent caller.
And they call themselves Americans? I question their mentality.
This is Tanner, Richmond, Virginia, Democrats Line.
Hi there. Yeah, I would just like to say this speaks so much to the division in this country. Democrats and Republicans seem to more and more in years going by. You're on your side of the aisle, I am on mine, and we're not going to reach. And now that's coming for the Republican Party itself. There's division, and they can't seem to get it done. They can't seem to come together as a caucus. The Democrats are in lockstep. They're showing their support for their person, and I think that's wonderful. I think during their nominating speech, their one slip was a lot of mention of things speaking more towards what the Republicans did and not towards what Hakeem Jeffries has done himself. But otherwise, I think the Democrats are making a great show of this, and I really think this is just bad for the Republicans for the future elections. I can't say anything else but that.
A member of leadership from both sides will make the pitch for their various representatives as far as Speaker of the House concerned. So expect to hear someone.
DJ it goes further than that. They actually held a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden.
Again, all part of the process as it plays out. John in New York, Republican Line.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. The area in which I live is a Republican stronghold, and I'm involved in local politics. The resounding opinion here is why did the Republicans even put Jordan up? He's an election denier. He's part of the insurrection. There has to be a better Republican representative to support
There's not.
Speaker of the House. We're all Americans. Let's do what is best for America.
Which Republican would you put support?
This is from the short documentary, A Night at the Garden.
I don't know why he is not.
This is Madison Square Garden.
Part of the vote. Scalise would have been.
This is a Nazi rally. It was held in 1939.
I think that would have been good. I would prefer
1939. 20,000 Americans.
look to the other side of the aisle to work.
Literal Nazi rally.
This is what is best for America.
This is what she was referring to.
The Constitution. And that's my opinion. Thank you very much for allowing me to call in.
Okay, Representative Steve Scalise of Louisiana.
Sponsored by Ford and GE.
Or at least in the process of becoming the House Speaker, took himself out of the running when support couldn't happen.
Those were the same people that supported the assassination attempt on FDR.
Goes as we wait for this call of the House to happen with 16 people yet to click in and complete the process. We'll take those calls up until then, and you'll get to watch it in real time, gavel to gavel, as it plays out throughout the course of the day. Let's go to Michigan Independent Line. This is William. Hi there.
What up, Bill?
Yes. Thank you for having me. My concern is with Jordan. Really, he shouldn't be. He's the worst choice. He's been in there for 16 years.
I don't know about worst.
Produced no legislation. That's his only job, and it's a bigger problem than the party in general. I used to like some of the Republicans.
Politically, apparently they have a resolution to empower McHenry.
Basically, you have just the dregs of society being put into positions of power.
Flash, good morning.
I just don't understand it. It's the dumbing down of America, at least in the Republican Party right now.
This dude's got some sense.
Okay. This is Angela in Kansas. Democrats line.
What's the matter with Kansas?
Hi, I would just like to say I'm a Democrat, but I want McNary in there. I want someone who's going to work with the other side. Jordan would know the truth if it hit him in the face. I'm sorry to say that, but that's
Jordan is daring his caucus to vote for McHenry. This is an interesting scenario.
Crisis right now. We need someone to lead us and not do all this other obscure crap that they're doing, these far-right Republicans. We just need people to come together as Americans and support American country. I want McNary in there. I think he's the best. He has worked with the White House. He has done the debt. I just feel like if a Republican's going to be in there, we have to have somebody we can trust, and we cannot trust Jordan at all.
We're down to single digits as far as this call of the House process is concerned, so we'll go back to the House in probably a minute or so from now. Let's go to Missouri.
It'll probably be a few more minutes.
Go ahead and jump on in.
Yes, I am in support of Jordan. Everybody talks about obeying the Constitution, and what I've seen since Biden election is nobody obeys the Constitution anymore. They interpret it to their own means and own special things. And I'd like to point out to everybody who keeps denying Jordan is that the world is at war. They have strong leaders in the foreign countries at war. That is what they like, strong leaders from a strong country. Currently, that's not America. And Jim Jordan is a strong leader in the House. And we need a strong leader, not somebody who's going to wishy-wash.
Okay, Independent Line. Bernard, hello.
Bernard.
Thanks for taking my call. So I'm an independent, but I lean conservative, and I'm supporting Jim Jordan for the nomination. I've been hearing a lot of comments about, he's an election denier, a MAGA extremist, et cetera. And, when it comes down to it, making America great again or America first shouldn't be a controversial stance. And the longer we hold out on the House Speaker nomination, quite frankly, I think we're saving the American taxpayer dollars because we're not sending more money to various conflicts around the world. I keep hearing about how the House is in disarray and in chaos, but this is what democracy is called, right? This is how it works. Democrats stick together when they come to the House floor, right? But yet the Republicans are being, characterized, as occultists, right? Well,
they are a cult.
You have folks within the Republican Party that do have disagreements and a different viewpoint on an issue tells you that they're not cultists.
Okay.
They are
That's Bernard there. Again, 3 people, 3 members yet to cast their presence as far as the call of the House is concerned. We are set after that to start the process of the nomination of the House Speaker. Nancy in California, Democrats line. Don't know how much time we have, but Nancy, jump on in.
Pelosi?
Good morning. The next Speaker of the House should be someone who's interested in protecting the civil rights of every person.
It is Pelosi.
That includes voting rights. That includes reproductive freedom for women. That is not Jim Jordan. That is Hakeem Jeffries. Thank you.
Okay. From Bakersfield, California, Republican line, Daniel, hello.
I'm a veteran, and I sat there and I watched this little thing go on here, and I'm disgusted by it. We see veterans.
Mr. Tad would rather watch the Nazi rally.
Money we see, and I see this stuff about using the Constitution, saying "we the people." When I see them Republicans, they're trying to, distort things like taking away books, taking away things, and they say they're the unifying party right now, and I'm kind of on the bubble of switching because I don't think they know what the truth is anymore.
Well, how does that relate to the House Speaker election?
Well, I look at Jim Jordan and I sat there and I see he hasn't passed anything. He hasn't, he's not working to anything. I called Kevin McCarthy's office the other day about this, and they just ignored me, and I think that Jim Jordan is a very poor person to be leading this party right now because he's not looking to help the country, but he's looking to help tear it down.
And being from Bakersfield, what did you think of Kevin McCarthy in the Speaker's role?
Well, again, I think he's better than Jim Jordan, but as I speak for some of the veterans here. I'm a social worker. That he has a hard time telling the truth. He's been promising the veterans, a new clinic here.
Alexandra,
at least 10 years.
If that is your real name, welcome.
His trust level is, but he is better than Jim Jordan. I would support him over.
Okay, let's go to our independent line. This is our line for others. Wayne in Texas. Hi.
Yes. Good evening. These congressmen.
Good evening.
Act like kids in a nursery. Stand up and be a person, not a kid. You was voted in by the people. You should honor the vote, but also be a person that will stand up for the government and do what is right, not what is wrong. Our veterans, they fought for this country. Our older veterans, they fought for this country. Stand up and fight for this country. Stand with your people that voted you in. Don't just go and be looking for something, a gift from the people.
Okay, that's there in Texas. 15 minutes was set for this call. Time relative being in this process. Waiting on those final members.
Time is dilated, as producer Dave always says.
Before we start the process, this is Lisa in South Carolina, Democrats line. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, yes. I'm saddened. I'm afraid. I don't understand the people that are voting for Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan almost has a war against America, which he's an insurrectionist. If he were to win
He's already said he's going to lock everybody else. He's going to tear down the justice system. He's going to impeach this person, that he's going to impeach people that don't even work for the government. America deserves more than that. We're a great country.
He's out here impeaching everybody. How'd your kids? How'd your wife?
People than these people show themselves to be. The small little dissidents, I'm not even sure why they allowed them to even make this move. So I'm really sad. He's an insurrectionist. He's not a patriot. He hasn't done anything but scream and attack, and he's against
and cover up sexual abuse.
Women.
Okay, that's Lisa there in South Carolina. We showed you a list of names of specifically those who voted against Representative Jordan yesterday. 20 of those names there. And
what do you guys think the count is going to be? Is Jordan going to get less votes than he got yesterday?
If those names will change from yesterday, if there'll be an addition of names who vote against Jim Jordan, if there'll be a change in names who actually vote for Jim Jordan when it comes to House Speaker. And you can watch that play out again when you watch C-SPAN, our main channel. You can follow along on the app and the .org too. This is from Olivia Beavers of Politico reporting that the representative was talking to Representative Garbarino, a current no on the House floor. So that's part of the plays out. Then there's also other reporting being done as people wait for this election to take place. Let's hear from Arizona, Republican line. Hello.
Rich, good morning. Les. Everybody's saying Les.
Yeah, definitely Jim Jordan would be not a very good candidate since he's a insurrectionist, just like Donald J. Trump, who has all these charges against him, and no one's even looking at that. And a president that says he doesn't have to follow the Constitution after making the pledge for taking under oath that he would protect our Constitution. Now he doesn't seem to have to. That's why I switched to become a Republican Party, and I do believe that either Christie would be a good president or Nikki Haley. Definitely
this dude's smoking.
Other ones, and I believe that every senator should have term limits. This is ridiculous that they can be in the House for years and do absolutely nothing.
Okay, that's a viewer there in Arizona.
Yes, Jim Jordan
down to one from the
authored 4 pieces of legislation in his 16 years in Congress.
Some things
passed none of them.
Going on the House when it comes to Representative Jim Jordan, again, who is waiting to see, along with everyone else, if there'll be enough votes for him to become the next Speaker of the House. Devin in Colorado, Independent Line.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Hi, you're on. Go ahead.
Jim Jordan. Thank you. Jim Jordan and the Ohio State abuse scandal. Richard Strauss. I don't know why he's not getting pressed on this more. He has no values. That in and of itself disqualifies him from this job.
More man.
People in his own district do not like him. So thank you for your time.
Some of the reporting there, Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News saying that it was Representative Jordan talking to Republican leadership floor staff during this process. As you watch play out, he's went up to the Speaker's chair, talked to the Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry. And so what that means, who knows? But it's part of what you will see play out today. Zachary in New Mexico, Democrats line, hi.
Hey, good morning, sir. Good morning, America. Thanks for hearing my voice. I'm a
good morning.
Recovering Republican service member, and I just wanted to share an insight. These folks are
thank you, Rich.
For someone to that in 16 years, I know it's been pointed out, has never covered a bill, and they say things like they want to know where the money's going. Those two things don't align. Actions speak louder than words. I'm concerned that Democrats are not reaching out to the actual politicians there on the Republican side of the House.
They have
to make something work.
They've made several offers to Republicans.
Bringing ill intentions into the conversation here. And I think the Republican Party has established a foothold for someone like a dictatorship come into this, and I think that's just what they're holding out for.
Independent line from Braden in North Carolina.
Hi,
Hi, I speak on behalf of the students from Hendersonville High School. And
No, you don't.
18-year-olds believe that this nation is divided and that what we really need right now is for this nation to come together to just be able to vote on a Speaker of the House so we can figure out this whole mess that we're in the United States.
Tell us more about your group and why you're particularly interested in this race.
We're in an AP government class right now, so we get to learn about current events and things that are going on in the nation. And obviously there's a lot going on, but that's what we've been learning about right now.
What have you learned from watching it from a classroom setting? What have you learned about the process?
We've learned about like the divisiveness, the division in the country, and what it really means for a Speaker of the House, like what they have to do. And we think it's extremely important to have one because we didn't really know what a Speaker of the House was, but now we know, and we know exactly why we need one.
When it comes to the debate in your classroom, as far as the speaker itself, is it evenly divided? Are there those who support Jim Jordan, those who are against him? How does that break down?
It's very divided in this class right now. We've been debating about it all week.
Okay. Keep watching, and thank you for watching our network as part of your educational process.
Thank you, C-SPAN. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate students who watch.
Even the time you guys were mean to me.
Across the United States, they're interested in history and government. Again, thanks for calling in. Sarah Ferris from Politico reporting that...
to be fair, I was drunk the night they were mean to me.
About this idea.
It was after a presidential debate.
The current Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry.
They asked me about fracking, and I'm like, I don't give a shit about fracking.
It's the plan.
Give me health care.
Still highly secreted, according to Sarah Ferris. Expected to include language on a continuing resolution as well, including aid packages for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan, and also the McHenry powers. So that's a new twist of reporting. Whether it plays out or not, we'll see. But that's Sarah Ferris from Politico reporting there.
Looks like we might have one Democrat missing.
The House, which started well over 20, 25 minutes ago, probably longer than that, to establish the quorum to go into the voting process. We're waiting on a lone person to cast their slot in, and then we'll start the process out as far as the voting is concerned. Republican line, Christy in Missouri. Hi there. You're next up. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for taking my call. I need everyone to know Matt Gaetz is a hero. He made Kevin McCarthy. He tried to make him keep his promises that he made.
As a conservative, it's getting harder and harder to not look like a kook.
Okay. That's Christy there. By the way, our own congressional watcher who watches Congress for you, so you don't have.
He called Matt Gaetz a hero.
He is on Capitol Hill, posting on his Twitter feed. You can follow him too there at Craig Kaplan. That the lone holdout so far to that one number that you see, Representative Donald Payne, Democrat from New Jersey, not voted yet. So that's, again, more information you can learn from Craig at Craig Kaplan, who watches Capitol Hill for us. Let's hear from Daniel in San Francisco, Democrats line.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. So I think like the best speaker would definitely be Hakeem Jeffries, but I'd say if Jim Jordan doesn't succeed with the Republicans and they decide to go with the strange strategy of putting Trump up, I would rather say that we follow Jamie Raskin's thing that he floated where he suggested that Liz Cheney might be a good option. And yeah, I would.
Raskin had several people that he threw out on MSNBC last night.
So we're seeing so far.
Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney.
Good morning.
Hi. I used to be a Republican. After Trump got into office, I switched parties and became an independent. I feel that extremists on either side is not good for our country. And I would prefer to see Hakeem Jeffries there.
Where are these extremists on the left? I want to know.
He would be a better choice. Jordan, he snubbed his nose at a subpoena. He's an extremist. He's in bed with Donald Trump, and he would do his bidding, just like he's got the inquiry of impeachment against President Biden right now with no evidence whatsoever. So he's as corrupt as most of those right-wing extremists are. All of them have problems, so I wouldn't want to see him there at all.
South Carolina Republican line. Beverly, hello.
Hi.
Go ahead.
I feel like we need a speaker now, and Jordan's the next one to vote for, so I feel like the Republicans should stick together and vote for Jordan. But I wish we'd all love each other, regardless of our parties, that we would love our country and God enough to do what is right. I feel like we need to get back with God. Thank you.
Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News there reporting on his Twitter feed. You can follow along at Jake Sherman saying now that...
Yeah, we need to come together and love each other as long as it's her political persuasion.
You'll remember, maybe not know, that Representative Kelly has a resolution to empower McHenry.
We're the extremists. When they say extremists on the left, they mean us. People that are informed and educated.
On this roll call, 432 members have recorded their presence.
So everyone is present.
The question now recurs on the election of a speaker. The tellers will please come forward to take their seats.
Is acting Speaker of the House Bowtie Bitch? Yeah, let's elect Jesus Speaker. Or maybe you mean J.C. Chavez from NSYNC. Probably also a better candidate for Speaker than Jim Jordan. I think that's a fantastic idea, J.C. Chavez. And we can tell Jim Jordan bye, bye, bye.
If the tellers will please come forward and take...
I'll see myself out. That was a horrible joke.
The gentleman, Mr. Stiles. The gentleman, Mr. Loudermilk. The gentlelady from Alabama. Ms. Sewell, prompt. Thanks. All right. The nominations are now in order. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Here we go.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of placing in nomination the name of the Honorable Jim Jordan for the position of Speaker of the House at the direction of the Republican Congress.
Honorable Jim Jordan. That's how you know there is no God. That motherfucker would be struck down for calling Jim Jordan honorable.
And one day ago, I was on this House floor and in this chamber.
We're just getting the vote started, PP girl.
Good friend and our former Speaker, Mr. McCarthy, from an effort to vacate the chair. And in the course of that speech, I made the remark that
I'm going to need more coffee.
Did this, whether intentionally or unintentionally, we're going to put the Congress in a state of chaos and the country into a state of uncertainty. I think the last 2 weeks have vindicated that observation. But we have a chance today to end that chaos and to end that uncertainty. Now, when these races happen, there's always a lot of hard things said on both sides of the aisle. There's a lot of finger pointing that goes on. I don't intend to be involved in any of that today. I think the decision in front of us is far, far too important for that. But I am very proud to place in nomination the name of...
That's the problem. You shouldn't be.
My good friend, our Republican candidate for Speaker, the Honorable Jim Jordan of Ohio.
You shouldn't be proud. He's not honorable.
I've had the privilege of knowing Jim Jordan for a long time. I've been in Congress for a long time. So for his entire period in the House, I've had the honor of serving with my
16 years, authored 4 bills, passed none of them.
You don't win national championships in college. You don't come to this floor with a sincere set of beliefs and a desire to make a change and be shy about it. And my friend is not a shy person. But I've learned some things about him over the years. He is a person of absolute personal integrity. I've never once had to question something that he told me. He's an honorable man. Also, I think we all know he's a pretty direct man, too. I don't think anybody in here on any issue of any substance would have to guess where Jim Jordan is going to stand. He doesn't deceive. He doesn't dissemble. He simply tells you straight up, this is what I believe, this is why I think it's the right thing to do for the country, and that's what I'm going to try and accomplish, and I'm going to work with you in any way that I can to do it. Now, the other thing I think we've found in the last couple of weeks is what it takes to be a speaker. And the one thing I know, never having been one and never having aspired to be one, that it takes a spine of steel to do this job.
That's what I was getting ready to say, Rich. The bullshit is getting deep right now. I'm going to need a shovel.
That kind of character has that kind of spine. And I think the next speaker is going to need that.
It's apparently opposite day in Congress today.
Now, if you're a Republican, it ought to be a pretty easy decision, my friends. You know, this is somebody who believes what we believe and has fought for and shown
nonsense
over and over again. You know, when I first got to know him, a lot of his focus was on spending. That's exactly where the focus of this House ought to be. Now,
you want to fuck over poor people.
Not just a short-term plan as to how we deal with the appropriations process. I'm an appropriator. I think I know that that's not the root of the problem. But unlike any other speaker we've had, he's had the courage to talk about a long-term plan and to get at the real drivers of debt. And we all know what they are. We all know it's Social Security. We all know it's Medicare. We all know it's Medicaid. No president.
No, it's all the tax cuts you fuckers have passed.
No speaker of
GP, good morning.
To deal with this. My friend, our former colleague, John Delaney, and I offered...
I'm sorry, it's noon now. Good afternoon.
John's not here anymore.
At least if you're on the East Coast.
In 1983, what we did then and addressed Social Security, we never can get any help. This is a guy that wants to create a debt commission, a bipartisan debt commission, and get at the roots of our spending problem. That takes courage.
The root of our spending problem is the military.
And Republicans ought to support
handouts to banks and CEOs.
Now, he's not only focused on one thing. I don't know anybody that's done more
exactly, Venus.
Highlight and talk about the border disaster that is underway right now as we speak. You know, I had the privilege of serving here when Jay Johnson was Secretary of Homeland Security. I have a very high opinion of Jay Johnson. I think he's one of the finest public
servants. That's the problem. You shouldn't.
I've ever met. And he was asked on one occasion to define what was a
low information voters, Venus.
And he said, anytime you have more than 1,000 illegal entries a day, you have a crisis. We have 10 or 11 times that every single day. And in that tide of humanity that's coming across, there is a boatload of fentanyl coming to kill tens of thousands of all of our constituents. There are human traffickers who are taking advantage of young men and young women and, frankly, predators in our own country.
There are human traffickers and predators in your caucus.
For the dozens, but by the hundreds and the thousands. You know, there are amongst that flow of people that wish us ill, people who are not fleeing from oppression, people who are terrorists or criminals that are coming into our country for no good reason.
GP, glad to have you here from Canada.
Not an immigration problem, that's a border security problem. They are not the same.
We love our Canadian friends. We also believe that Trudeau is a shit lib.
We can debate immigration. That's a worthy debate. We should never have to debate border security. Nobody's highlighted that issue like my friend, Jim Jordan. Nobody's done more as a committee chairman to move legislation that would meaningfully deal with this problem. And this, my friends, on both sides of the aisle, but with all due respect, particularly this administration and my friends on the other side, you need to look at this. You need to look at this seriously. Don't confuse it with immigration. You ain't going to have immigration reform until we have border security. Cannot be done. This has been the #1 champion of that. It's one of the #1 issues that we have. Finally, I want to talk about something that can bring us together. There are a lot of things we disagree on.
Fuck you too, DJ Dub.
Most of us do not disagree about
Love you, buddy.
the security of the state of Israel. All of us. All of us on both sides of the aisle reacted with horror.
To the bombing of children in the hospital yesterday?
And with legitimate outrage at the crime that was perpetrated against the people of Israel in the last week. All of us, and all of us know that they are within their rights to respond forcefully and
in the last week
to defend their people and
pretty sure the only people committing crimes in the last week has been Israel. Oh, this is disgusting. All right, fine. Stand with the genocidal country
we are in a moment of crisis.
that has been running an open-air prison.
And we know we can't do that without a Speaker of the House. Now, it's a narrow majority, but
Stay in your echo chamber.
And we need to produce a Speaker. We have a candidate who we know where he will stand on issues that are important. We know where he's going to stand on spending because it's where he's always stood. Not like he's changed over the course of his career. I know what he's going to do on the border.
Oh, who got a Maynard?
I've seen what his committee produced. And it's not just money, it's policy and change that will provide security for the American people. And finally...
Yeah, that Venus is bringing up a good point.
I know
most Israelis don't support the Netanyahu government.
we can come together. That crisis is on us now. We may get a request almost any time to act. We need to be able to act. My friend will act on that crisis. He's shown it his whole career. So it's with a great deal of pride that I have the privilege of nominating my friend, our chairman of the Judiciary Committee, but a person whose principles you know, whose actions you can trust, and who in a time of crisis will respond with the leadership we need. Jim Jordan.
Well, it's like I support the Jewish people. If Israel wants to free Palestine and bring them into the political mechanism, that would solve the problem. If they would like to make Palestine its own country and give them autonomy, that would be a solution.
For the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of New York.
But the current position of keeping the Palestinian people imprisoned and using the horrendous acts of Hamas as a reason to murder innocent Palestinians, that is untenable, and I can't support that.
And I promise to make these speeches shorter if we get closer to a compromise, but I'm not certain that that's going to happen at this moment. While the Republican candidate for Speaker is making late-night backroom deals to secure the gavel, Leader Jeffries has once again extended the hand of bipartisanship for a path forward. One thing was very clear yesterday.
But my position may be too nuanced for a lot of people to wrap their heads around.
212 to 200. The People's House has spoken, and Leader Jeffries has the support to be Speaker that this country needs. Mr. Speaker, $212 to 200. No amount of election denying is going to take away from those vote totals. We shouldn't, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, we shouldn't be surprised at the vote count. I noted yesterday the legislative acumen of the gentleman from Ohio. Would it surprise anyone that in addition to not passing a single piece of legislation, he's never put a piece of legislation that has made it to a committee? The Speaker of the House must be a legislator, and the gentleman from Ohio falls short in that regard. He supports an extreme agenda and is hell-bent on banning abortion nationwide, gutting Medicare,
making coffee over there,
Social Security, and giving cover to January 6th attackers. Those aren't the values.
I kind of figured GP wouldn't like it here when he said Trudeau was a dictator.
In this round, there's going to be
you can call Trudeau a shit lib.
And another internal
dictator. Come the fuck on.
And a secret ballot, and the country can't afford more delays and more chaos. 15 days should be enough. House Democrats are united on this path forward. We're united behind Hakeem Jeffries, united to put people over politics, and united to lower costs, create better paying jobs, build safer communities, and defend democracy. And once again, we're coming together to achieve this common goal, and that is to make Hakeem Jeffries Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Steny Hoyer, Nancy Pelosi, sit the fuck down. Retire. Both of you, get the fuck out of Congress.
Almost, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Hakeem Jeffries has done.
Both are running for re-election. I cannot believe that.
On the other side of the aisle, and that is to keep a caucus united. When extreme MAGA Republicans vowed to send our country into a devastating default, it was Leader Jeffries who led House Democrats to reject the extremism and keep the government open. Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, we have the vote totals to back that up. It has been Leader Jeffries and House Democrats who have shown a willingness and a conviction.
Half the fucking House is too damn old.
American families. And it will be Hakeem Jeffries who will move our body and our country.
I don't want to be ageist.
On a bipartisan path. Who on the
No, Pelosi did not retire. She is running for re-election again.
To achieve three common goals. And my colleague and good friend, the gentleman from Oklahoma, mentioned one of them. Supporting assistance to Israel, but what he left out was assistance to Ukraine and our national security objectives.
Oh, I thought he was going to mention Palestine. Oh my God.
Second, above all else, we must commit.
Yep, I'm an idiot for thinking that.
And functioning.
Our Lord always keeping me honest over here.
And finally, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, we need to put this body on a bipartisan path to achieve real results for the American public. That is what we were sent to do. That is what we need to do. That is why Hakeem Jeffries is the leader we need at this time to lead this chamber. I'd like to nominate Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker of the House. I yield back.
Can I comment correct on that? They're dropping like flies in the Senate, too.
No further nominations. The reading clerk will now call the roll.
Here we go.
Jeffries. Adderholt. Jordan. Aguilar. Jeffries.
Is C-SPAN going to give us a counter?
Jordan. Allen.
Clinically told me C-SPAN had a counter yesterday.
All red.
I'll get
Jeffries.
I'll get CNN pulled up here.
Jordan. Armstrong. Jordan. Arrington. Jordan. Auchincloss. Jeffries.
Fucking what?
Babin. Jordan. Bacon. McCarthy.
Apparently, Israel has approved entry of humanitarian aid to Gaza. And the U.S. pressured them to do it. Amazing!
Baird. Jordan. Balderson.
Have to do a little
Jordan. Ballant.
work here on our counter.
Banks. Jordan. Barr. Jordan. Barragan. Jeffries. Bean of Florida. Jordan. Beatty. Jeffries. Bentz. Jordan. Barra. Jeffries. Bergman. Jordan. Beyer. Jeffries. Bice. Jordan. Biggs. Jordan.
So thank you, CNN, giving us the counter down in the bottom right-hand corner.
Jordan. Bishop of Georgia. Jeffries. Bishop of
And then CNN puts the counter up.
Jordan. Blumenauer. Jeffries. Blunt Rochester. Jeffries. Bobert. Jordan. Bonamici. Jeffries. Bost. Jordan. Bowman. Jeffries.
So remember, the magic number is 5.
Jeffries.
5 in the other column sinks Jim Jordan.
Jordan. Brown. Jeffries. Brownlee. Jeffries. Buchanan. Donalds.
Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. There is now 2 in the other column.
Buck.
We're not even out of the B's yet. Ken Buck voting against Jim Jordan. Almost certainly going to fail.
Bouchon. Jordan. Basinski. Jeffries. Burchett. Jordan. Burgess. Jordan. Burleson. Jordan. Bush. Jeffries. Calvert. Jordan. Kamek. Jordan. Caraveo. Jeffries. Carbajal. Jeffries. Cardenas. Jeffries. Carey. Jordan. Carl. Jordan. Carson. Jeffries. Carter of Georgia. Jordan. Carter of Louisiana. Jeffries.
It is Corey Bush of
Texas.
Missouri.
Jordan. Cartwright.
There are apparently a few flips for Jordan and also flips against Jordan.
Jeffries. Case. Jeffries.
So it's very likely that the number will still be around 200.
Jeffries. Castor.
With defectors both ways.
Jeffries. Castro of Texas. Jeffries. Chavez DeReamer.
CNN says that they're up to 4 others right
McCarthy.
now. Oh, there we go. There's the update to the counter. So it's almost certain that Jim Jordan is going to fail.
Sherfilis McCormick. Jeffries. Chu. Jeffries.
It's hard telling exactly what's going to happen today.
Jordan.
Are there going to be multiple rounds of voting?
Clark of Massachusetts.
Going to be pointless.
Jeffries. Clark of New York.
Apparently there is a resolution
Cleaver.
by people who are no on Jordan that they feel could get Democratic support to empower Representative McHenry, Pennsylvania.
Jordan. Clyburn.
That's a bow tie bitch up there
Jeffries. Clyde.
overseeing the House right
Jordan.
now.
Cohen. Jeffries. Cole.
But apparently the Jordan caucus is against
Jordan.
empowering McHenry.
Jordan. Comer. Jordan. Connolly. Jeffries. Correa. Jeffries. Costa. Jeffries. Courtney. Jeffries. Craig. Jeffries. Crane. Jordan. Crawford. Jordan. Crenshaw.
I would give anything, everything I own, to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole.
Jeffries.
Give me that eye pussy, sir.
Jeffries. Cuellar. Jeffries. Curtis. Jordan. Davids of Kansas. Jeffries. Davidson. Jordan. Davis of Illinois. Jeffries. Davis of North Carolina.
What would Republican Justin think of today? I would have said something stupid like that high schooler that called into C-SPAN.
Jeffries.
Well, the country's just too divided, and we need to get a Speaker of the House.
Dela Cruz.
For those of you unaware, I was actually president of the Young Republicans when I was in high school.
Jeffries. Del Bene.
But I would like to point out that I had a really good civics teacher.
DeLuzio.
This is in the year 2000, remember this.
Jeffries. DeSaulnier.
And when describing the political parties,
Desjardins.
she talked about a historical Republican Party. She loved Dwight Eisenhower. I love Dwight Eisenhower.
Zeldin.
But the Republican, there's the vote that sinks him. Boom. Over for Jim Jordan.
Diaz-Balart.
So if you've got a teacher, and there's another one. If you have a teacher that teaches you that the Republican Party is the party of Dwight Eisenhower, the Democratic Party is the party of FDR, you might have a little warped sense about what the parties were like in the year 2000.
Doggett. Jeffries. Donalds. Jordan. Duarte. Jordan. Duncan. Jordan.
So I do believe there are going to be more than 20 votes against him.
Edwards. Jordan. LZ. Mike Garcia.
A third speaker vote is expected. I don't know what the use would be. I mean, yesterday we were expecting a speaker vote at 6 o'clock.
Emmer.
By about 5 o'clock, they had said, nope, it's going to be tomorrow.
Escobar. Jeffries. Eshu. Jeffries. Espaillat. Jeffries. Estes. Jordan. Evans. Jeffries. Azell. Jordan. Fallon. Jordan. Finstra. Jordan. Ferguson.
Just lay down and take the Jeffries.
Scalise.
Sounds oddly sexual.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Finstad. Jordan. Fishbach. Jordan.
Fishbone, a highly underrated band from the 80s.
Jordan. Fitzpatrick. Jordan. Fleischman. Jordan.
I mean, he is desperately power hungry.
Jeffries. Flood. Jordan. Foster.
Now we could see a vote on McHenry.
Jeffries.
That one might not be as pointless.
Jordan. Lois Frankel. Jeffries. Scott Franklin. Jordan. Frost. Jeffries.
Representative Maxwell Frost from Florida.
Jordan.
The youngest member of Congress.
Jordan. Gates. Jordan. Gallagher. Jordan. Gallego. Jeffries.
Fleischman is your rep. I am so sorry.
Jeffries. Garbarino. Zeldin.
Once again, this is Lee Zeldin of New York, who I thought was still in Congress.
Mike Garcia. Jordan.
He is not still in Congress.
Jeffries. Garcia of Illinois. Jeffries.
Look at Maynard over there peeking around the corner.
Texas.
What do you want, little buddy?
Jeffries. Jimenez.
He is not impressed with this speaker vote.
Golden of Maine. Jeffries. Goldman of New York.
I've never even heard of Greg Landsman.
Gomez. Jeffries. Tony Gonzalez. Scalise. Vicente Gonzalez.
Probably a good thing if I haven't heard of your representative.
Good of Virginia.
Means they haven't done anything stupid.
Jordan. Gooden of Texas.
Or stupid enough to get featured on the Troll Patrol, at least.
Gosar.
Paul Gosar, I absolutely know who he is, and he is a white supremacist.
Jeffries. Granger.
Gottheimer should be in the Republican Party.
Scalise.
Yep, there are going to be more votes against Jim Jordan than there were yesterday.
Jordan. Graves of Missouri. Jordan. Green of Tennessee. Jordan. Green of Texas.
Give me greens.
Jeffries. Green of Georgia. Jordan. Griffith. Jordan.
George seated right behind McCarthy.
Jeffries. Grothman. Grothman. Jordan.
Oh shit, yes, Sky Comet.
Jordan. Guthrie. Jordan. Hageman. Jordan. Harder of California. Jeffries. Harris. Jordan. Harshbarger. Jordan. Hayes. Jeffries. Hearn.
There you go. Make a cup of coffee. I will be right back.
Of Louisiana. Jordan. Higgins of New York. Jeffries. Hill. Jordan. Himes. Jeffries. Henson. Jordan. Horsford. Jeffries. Houchin. Jordan. Houlihan. Jeffries. Hoyer. Jeffries. Hoyle of Oregon. Jeffries. Hudson. Jordan. Huffman. Jeffries. Huizinga. Jordan. Hunt. Jordan. Isa. Jordan. Ivy. Jeffries. Jackson of Illinois. Jeffries. Jackson of North Carolina. Jeffries. Jackson of Texas. Jordan. Jackson Lee. Jeffries. Jacobs. Jeffries. James. Miller Meeks. Candace Miller of Michigan.
House will come to order. The clerk will continue.
Jayapal. Jeffries. Jeffries. Jeffries.
Get the fuck down. You didn't do anything. I hate this.
Johnson of Georgia. Jeffries. Johnson of Louisiana. Jordan. Johnson of Ohio. Jordan. Johnson of South Dakota. Jordan. Jordan. Jordan.
You guys sit the fuck down too.
Joyce of Ohio. Jordan. Joyce of Pennsylvania.
Like, how you gonna give a standing ovation to a dude that you know has lost the vote?
Kemlager Dove.
Learn to feel embarrassment.
Jeffries. Captor. Jeffries. Kane of New Jersey. Jordan. Keating. Jeffries. Kelly of Illinois. Jeffries. Kelly of Mississippi. Jordan. Kelly of Pennsylvania.
Former Speaker of the House, the Honorable John Boehner.
John Boehner! Wasn't expecting to hear that name today.
Kana.
That was like 5 speakers ago.
Kana. Jeffries. Higgins of Virginia. McCarthy. Kildee.
Somebody voted for John Boehner, who's a lobbyist now, right? He's like a lobbyist for a weed company, if I remember correctly.
Kilmer. Jeffries. Kim of California.
I don't believe so, Venus. Now, he did...
Kim of New Jersey.
He did a whole thing with Obama after he got out of office where he bashed how dysfunctional the Republican Party was.
Custer. Jeffries.
And then went to go lobby for a weed company, if I remember correctly.
Jordan. LaHood. Jordan. LaLota. Zeldin. LaMalfa. Jordan. Lamborn. Lamborn. Jordan.
Yeah, he works for R.J. Reynolds.
Jeffries.
Joined the board of Acreage Holdings, a cannabis corporation.
Jordan.
He's the chair of the National Cannabis Roundtable.
Larson of Connecticut. Jeffries. Latta. Jordan. LaTurner. Jordan.
Yeah, I really do wish I had been doing the Troll Patrol back in the Obama days. Once again, my dumb ass. A lot of people told me I should have been doing streaming back then. I'm sorry, Sky Comet.
Lee of Florida.
They voted for Jeffries.
Lee of Nevada. Jeffries. Lee of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Ledger Fernandez. Jeffries. Lesko.
Let's go.
Letlow. Jordan. Levin. Jeffries. Liu. Jeffries. Lofgren. Jeffries. Loudermilk. Jordan.
Everybody talking about louder milk. Nobody ever talks about softer milk.
Jordan. Luke Kameyer. Jordan. Luna. Jordan. Latrell. Jordan. Lynch. Jeffries. Mace. Jordan. Magaziner. Jeffries.
Magaziner?
Takas. Jordan. Mann. Jordan. Manning. Jeffries. Massey. Jordan. Mast. Jordan. Matsui. Jeffries. McBath. Jeffries. McCarthy. Jordan. McCall.
McCarthy didn't get a standing ovation.
McLean. Jordan. McClellan. Jeffries. McClintock. Jordan. McCollum. Jeffries. McCormick. Jordan. McGarvey. Jeffries. McGovern. Jeffries. McHenry. Jordan. Meeks. Jeffries. Menendez. Jeffries. Ming. Jeffries. Muser. Jordan. Mfume. Jeffries. Miller of Illinois. Jordan. Miller of Ohio. Jordan. Miller of West Virginia. Jordan. Miller Meeks.
Yeah, McHenry is a solid Jordan vote. Said he would still support Jordan. There is a resolution to possibly empower McHenry to be a temporary Speaker of the House. We might get a vote on that after this, possibly. Because right now the only thing he is empowered to do is have this vote.
Molinaro. Jordan. Molinar.
There's a resolution to give him more power to be able to call the House into session and have committee hearings.
Jordan. Moore of Utah. Jordan. Moore of Wisconsin.
I do believe there are more votes against Jordan than what there were at this point yesterday.
Jordan. Morelli.
Mr. Jeffries.
So it really looks like he has lost votes.
Moskowitz. Jeffries. Moulton. Jeffries. Mervan. Jeffries. Mullen. Jeffries. Murphy. Jordan. Nadler. Jeffries. Napolitano. Jeffries.
Moores. The card says Moops.
Jeffries. Nagoose.
It was the Moores. The card says Moops.
Nels. Jordan. Newhouse. Jordan. Nickel. Jeffries.
DJ Dub, they've apparently scheduled committee hearings for later today.
Norman.
That is on the House docket.
None of Iowa. Jordan. Obernolte. Jordan.
No one got my Seinfeld joke, did they?
Jeffries. Ogles. Jordan. Omar. Jeffries. Owens. Jordan. Pallone. Jeffries. Palmer. Jordan. Panetta. Jeffries. Pappas. Jeffries. Pasquarel. Jeffries. Payne. Payne.
I knew there had to be some Seinfeld fans in the chat. Shut up, Nancy.
Jeffries. Peltola. Jeffries. Pence. Jordan. Perez. Perez. Jeffries.
We need more board license plates.
Perry. Jordan. Peters. Jeffries. Pedersen.
Feinstein's already been replaced, and she's in the Senate. Or was in the Senate.
Pfluger.
Before her death a couple weeks ago.
Phillips. Jeffries.
Do what?
Pingree.
You don't understand why people enjoy Seinfeld?
Jeffries.
It's one of those shows where you have to actually watch a whole episode. You can't just sit down in the middle of it.
Posey.
Because you'll be lost. Everything builds on everything else.
Jordan. Presley.
So something that seems throwaway in the first 5 minutes of the show will be integral to the end of the show when it all comes together. That's why I love the brilliant writing.
Ramirez. Jeffries. Raskin. Jeffries.
I would recommend the Christmas episode from season 7.
Jordan. Rogers of
where Kramer becomes a communist.
Jordan. Rogers of Alabama.
And he's working as a mall Santa, and he's telling all the kids about communism. It's hilarious.
Rogers of Kentucky. Jordan. Rose. Jordan. Rosendale. Jordan. Ross.
And the kid's sitting on his lap that's commie propaganda.
Rouser. Jordan. Roy. Jordan. Ruiz. Jeffries. Rupersberger. Jeffries. Rutherford. Scalise.
I understand that there are plenty of people that do not get Seinfeld. I did one of my movies in college.
Jeffries.
After they showed it in class, the professor did not laugh at all. Looked like she was just completely confused. And she's like, well, that was original. I was like, well, it's Seinfeld humor. Did you like Seinfeld? She's like, no. It's like, well, that's why you didn't get it then.
Santos. Jordan.
Larry David is like my idol.
Sarbanes. Jeffries. Scalise. Jordan. Scanlon.
Snicks, did I tell you good morning?
Jeffries. Schakowsky. Jeffries. Schiff. Jeffries. Schneider. Jeffries.
I mean, I don't just like it. It is one of my absolute favorite shows of all time. I couldn't tell you what my favorite show is. Seinfeld, South Park, Sunny, Curb. I couldn't pick.
Austin Scott. Jordan. David Scott.
Well, good afternoon to you.
Jeffries. Scott of Virginia. Jeffries. Self. Jordan. Sessions.
Yeah, that was over in the broadcasting department.
Sewell. Jeffries.
And she absolutely hated me.
Jeffries.
They brought in this documentary filmmaker that had all kinds of credits, and they asked if anybody had an interest in documentary films, and I love documentaries. And she was like, "Oh, do you have any ideas?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I was wanting to do this documentary called See Me Pee. It was about me and my girlfriend at the time going around pissing on different banks.
Smith.
And like, she thought that was the most embarrassing thing she'd ever heard in her life.
Smith of Nebraska.
The professor.
Jordan. Smith of New Jersey.
It was called See Me Pee, and the tagline was, "You're in for a wild ride."
Jeffries. Smucker. Jordan. Sorensen.
This was right after the banking collapse. So we were pissing on like Wells Fargo and shit.
Spanberger. Jeffries. Sparts. Sparts.
So it looks like Jordan has less votes
Stansberry.
than he had yesterday.
Jeffries.
The Stinsberries taste like Stinsberries.
Stanton. Jeffries. Stauber. Westerman.
No. We were pissing on like Wells Fargo and U.S. Bank and shit. That was actually our first date. We pissed on a Wells Fargo together.
Jordan. Stefanik. Jordan. Style. Jordan.
He is getting even fewer votes.
Jordan. Stevens. Jeffries. Strickland.
He will not hit 200.
Jeffries. Strong. Jordan. Swalwell. Jeffries. Sykes. Jeffries. Takano.
Looks like he's going to be around 195.
Tenney. Jordan. Tanadar. Jeffries. Thompson of California. Jeffries. Thompson of Mississippi. Jeffries. Thompson of Pennsylvania. Jordan. Tiffany.
432.
Timmons.
There are 435 seats. We apparently have 3 vacant seats.
Jeffries.
I know of at least 2 deaths. Piss hearts.
Takuda. Jeffries. Tonko. Jeffries. Torres of California. Jeffries.
I'm bad at math as well.
Torres of New York.
But then you take my 75%
Jeffries.
chance of winning and then add 66 and 2/3%.
Trahan.
I got 141
Jeffries.
and 2/3 chance of winning.
Trone.
That's what Jim Jordan has right now. He has a 33 and 2/3% chance.
Turner.
Beating me at sacrifice.
Underwood. Jeffries. Valadeo.
But you put Steve Scalise in the mix, and he knows he can't beat me.
The Honorable Jim Jordan.
Jordan. Van Dyne. Jordan. Van Orden. Jordan. Vargas.
Just saying it with more conviction isn't going to make him speaker, sir.
Jeffries.
I hate that I'm going to have to like start fixing my hair now. I've got like a cowlick on the back of my head.
BC. Jeffries. Velasquez. Jeffries.
Oh, I fucking hate math. I had to take remedial math classes in college.
Jordan. Waltz.
They wouldn't even let me into statistics before I had to take like algebra 1, advanced algebra 1, advanced algebra 2 or some shit.
Waters. Jeffries. Watson Coleman. Jeffries. Weber of Texas. Jordan. Webster of Florida.
Well, I have no clue what my hair is going to do now. And also, like,
Winstrup.
I've only had short hair a couple years out of, like, the last 15 years.
Jordan. Wexton.
I've cut my long hair twice and then grew it right back out both times.
Wild. Jeffries. Williams of Georgia. Jeffries. Williams of New York. Jordan. Williams of Texas. Jordan. Wilson of Florida. Jeffries. Wilson of South Carolina. Jordan. Whitman. Jordan. Womack. Scalise.
First name? Possibly?
Yakum. Jordan. Zinke. Jordan.
I just, math doesn't work for me. It doesn't math up here. We've got a few people that didn't vote.
I've got Sparks missing, and I got Talib missing. And Trump. Okay. So you should have 4 missing.
So 2 of them on the Democratic side.
Hang on.
Looks like Jordan is going to come out with 197, 198.
Mr. Payne. Yeah. Yeah. So she'll call again.
So it looks like 2 votes missing on each side.
Payne's your first.
But Jordan has failed to be elected speaker. C-SPAN is saying a 3rd vote is expected. I don't know what the point is. I would expect a recess at least to allow Jordan some time to try to whip more votes.
Did not answer the first call of the roll.
Payne. Jeffries. Sparks.
I think she said Jordan.
Jordan.
Let's see, 199. Okay, Talib's next. Yeah.
Talib.
Wafu.
Jeffries.
And then next we have is Trone.
Trone. Jeffries.
Wait, I thought it was 212 on the Democratic side. Did we have a Republican defector? That's what I'm saying clinically. But I'm also horrible at math.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25%
It could be C-SPAN getting it wrong. We'll find out the
chance of winning.
vote tallies here in a second. But Jordan did lose votes, not as many as I thought he would. I thought it would be 195. But he had 200 yesterday, like 198 today. CNN is saying Jeffries has 212. So I'm assuming that this is a typo on C-SPAN's part. CNN has Jeffries at 212, Jordan at 199, Scalise at 7, McCarthy at 5, and then 10 people voting for others. So I'm venturing to say that CNN has it right. But we'll get the official tally from Speaker Pro Temp Bowtie Bitch here in just a second. That's his name from now on. Is it 432? We have one more than we did yesterday. Oh, wait a minute. There are 3 empty seats. Yeah, it should be 432. Yep, math is hard. Bring out the GIMP. Oh, so it is 433 if it's one more than yesterday. Well, I said earlier I know of 2 deaths, and that's 2 empty seats. So it could be 433. Once again, numbers. There are 435 seats in the House. I know that to be a fact. All of you should be embarrassed with yourselves. Oh shit, Scott Comet. Sorry. I will say that, like, you guys know I'm very good at cooking, not good at baking. Baking is math. Cooking, you feel cooking. I don't measure things. I just know what to do. That Appalachian grandma, the spirit of my Appalachian grandma washing over me. Exactly, clinically. Baking is a science, cooking is an art. I do want to learn how to make bread, though. That's my next thing to tackle, is making my own breads and crusts and shit. Let's talk about salmonella. Make you think about cooking. 'Cause I'm hungry.
With that process done and the numbers there on the screen, now the tallying finishing up and paperwork to be signed.
Alexandra knows how to bake.
Next steps as far
Perhaps we can combine forces, ma'am.
Nobody knows at this point, but Representative Jim Jordan with 199
I can
members of
cook.
Congress supporting him. Republicans, he got 200 yesterday, you'll remember. Hakeem Jeffries with the same 212 from his Democratic coalition, and then 22 voting against Representative Jordan, nobody voting present. And so this is finishing up, and we'll wait and see what next steps are as the paperwork and the final dotting of the I's and crossing of the T's is done.
Clinically, you lucky bastard. I made spaghetti again in my Dutch oven last night. My God, was it good. Captain Planet, he's our hero. I was expecting 195. I was expecting several votes less than yesterday. So I'm kind of surprised by 199. I baked it last time. I was really hungry last night, so I did not bake it. I thought about it. Bengali food. Yeah, one of the next things I want to tackle is to learn how to cook Thai food and Indian food. I can cook the fuck out of some white people food. I want to expand my horizons because I've told you guys this story many times that I was hired to do videography for a Indian girl's graduation celebration, and they brought in home cooked Indian food, and I've been chasing that dragon ever since. That's the tastiest food I've ever had in my life. And no Indian restaurant has ever come close to that. Ooh, yes, please, Venus. Unfortunately for me, for some reason, Facebook has decided to show me the widest cooking you can possibly show somebody. I've got this feud with this cowboy hat with Pepper Belly Pete or whatever the fuck his name is. I've had to block 4 different accounts by that motherfucker. Dude, if you're pouring Rotel into fucking Velveeta, you've got nothing to show me. There is no cooking you're going to do that's going to be appealing to me. Sky Comet, I'm a huge fan of Kitchen Nightmares. In the British version, that's one of the only times I've ever seen Gordon Ramsay not trash the food. It was a black woman from the U.S. South. She had a little restaurant in, I think it was London. And she did soul food. And Gordon cleaned his plate. One of the very few times Gordon has ever been impressed by the food. It's the cornerstone of white Texas cooking. Ooh, I love some cured meats. I want a smoker. I love Creole cooking. Shrimp and grits, one of my favorite fucking dishes to make. PB Girl has a smoker. I'm jealous. God, it's been a while since I made some shrimp and grits. I'm going to have to break that one out. Especially now that sriracha is back on the menu. Barbecue and drugs and corn. Yes, sriracha is back, but apparently it tastes different. They're sourcing their chilies from a different place. I heard it has a little bit of a bitter aftertaste. I've not had a bottle of sriracha since they've put it back on the shelves. I'm sorry. Why do you guys get me talking about cooking? You know it's easy to get me to go on a tangent about cooking, music, TV shows. Yes, the Biden campaign launching their Truth Social a day after JustinFREAKIN got on Truth Social. And they're hilarious on there. You know, I've never tried my hand at gumbo, but I had an ex-girlfriend. She fucking loved Creole cooking. She would make a gumbo, and it was excellent. I can't see the word jambalaya without singing Hank Sr. in my head. Jambalaya. Ah. You guys need to be bringing me some dishes. So you didn't get you any, boudin? Is that what they call it? The type of sausage they use? Good backyard boil. Oh man, I love crawfish. And Dewey? I can't pronounce. I'm not good at the. I think they're French words, aren't they? Because Louisiana once belonged to the French. And Dewey, thank you. Clinically, always give me the phonetical pronunciation. I appreciate it. Because white boy from Appalachia can't say words. Oh my God, hates seafood? I'm sorry, Venus. I love seafood. Gramps, catfish, salmon. I make a badass lobster mac and cheese. Fucking love some crab. I've not seen them take this shot. They've got a bird's eye shot of the house. This is cool. Well, I fried some catfish the other day, and it was absolutely delicious. I don't like pickles, so I've got like an aversion to traditional tartar sauce. So I make my own tartar sauce with like a like Italian dressing and mayonnaise, a couple other things. Guess it's technically not a tartar sauce. I'm sorry, I don't like pickled anything. Like, I would love to try Korean tacos, but I walk into a Korean taco place and the smell of the, kombucha or whatever. No, that's the beverage. What's the pickled fucking cabbage they've got? Like, that shit just, like, it turns my stomach. We're waiting for the official tally right now. Kimchi, that's it. Kombucha. That's that weird fermented tea. Yeah, I can't do pickled anything. I don't know why people do that to a perfectly good cucumber, because I love cucumbers. I have tried kombucha. I had a neighbor that used to make his own. I didn't care for it. I'll stick with what Sparkles calls my pussy tea, which is raspberry herbal tea. That's usually what I'm drinking. Sometimes it's peach, sometimes it's blueberry, but usually it's raspberry. Ooh, I love those cucumber salads. You'll usually get them at like a barbecue restaurant, like cucumber, feta, and those little cherry tomatoes and shit. Love those salads. I've never been the biggest fan of mushrooms, but when I made beef Wellington and you do the little mushroom, the fucking paste, that shit was amazing. And then I've had some stuffed mushrooms that, weren't bad. Yeah, I made beef Wellington for Christmas a couple of years ago. Nope. It was Thanksgiving. All kombucha isn't tea, but some kombucha is tea. Semantics. All right, here we go.
The House will come to order.
Hit us with it, bowtie bitch.
The tellers agree in their tallies that the total number of votes cast is 433, of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 199. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 212.
I'll allow them to applaud there because that's good trolling.
The Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 5. The Honorable Byron Donalds of the state of Florida has received 1. The Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1.
Oh yeah, I'll eat those mushrooms by the handful.
3. The Honorable Steve Scalise of the state of Louisiana has received 7. The Honorable Mike Garcia of the state of California has received 1.
John Boner.
Candace Miller of the state of Michigan has received 1. John Boehner of the state of Ohio has received 1.
Why are you cheering him? He quit.
The Honorable Kay Granger of the state of Texas has received 1. The Honorable Bruce Westerman of the state of Arkansas has received 1. No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, a speaker has not been elected. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
And that's the end result of the second day of voting on a House Speaker not going the way for Representative.
Yeah, this is the guy that slammed the gavel. He was incredibly pissed.
As the House considers and leadership considers its next moves. You can call in and talk about what you've seen that play out into the morning and into the afternoon. Republicans 202-748-8921. Democrats 202-748-8920. Others 202-748-8922. You can text us at 202-748-8903. You can post on X at C-SPAN, and Facebook is facebook.com/C-SPAN. Punchbowl News' Jake Sherman reporting that House Republicans now waiting upon Representative Jordan to decide his next move. That's per sources involved in the decision-making process.
I didn't get the last two numbers.
Anybody's guess. We've been talking with legislators and throughout the course of this morning about this idea of expanding the current powers of the Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry. A debate going on between Republicans and Democrats over that. Was the the Democrat from Maryland, Steny Hoyer, on the steps of the Capitol talking about this idea, what he thinks of it. Here's a portion of that.
Look, that would have to be a Republican initiative, and we'd have to discuss what the terms of that are. But it is important for us to get the Congress working on behalf of the American people. And the way we move forward is in a bipartisan fashion. That's the way we...
Ah, shit. C-SPAN ending their coverage. I'll have to go over to the actual C-SPAN website. I do have an account, so it's not a big deal. Just a second. Get it pulled back up here. We went live. Oh, this is a hearing on Iran. C-SPAN, what the fuck? Where's the... C-SPAN telling me that there is a Washington Journal live right now. Got the Senate. We don't want the Senate. We want the call-in. Why is it telling me I'm not signed in? I have a C-SPAN account. I must log in to view C-SPAN. This is odd. Yeah, it's not wanting to let me access the main C-SPAN channel. Just where they're doing call-ins right now. Yeah, that's just the stream we just watched. What? Damn it, C-SPAN. See, this is why I don't do C-SPAN. That's why I usually do Washington Post. But But we love C-SPAN calls. It's so good. Yeah, it's not. It's telling me we've got the hearing on Iranian threats and we got the U.S. Senate. And it won't let me access the main C-SPAN feed. Boo! Boo! Well, they are in recess right now. We are probably going to get a vote later today, so I guess I'll go ahead and sign off, maybe get something to eat, go get a snack, and keep an eye out for the stream. We'll come back on if they're going to have a vote here in the next couple of hours, possibly tonight. Possibly that's what we'll do. Instead of doing a troll patrol later on tonight, we'll do watching the House possibly vote on McHenry, possibly vote on Jim Jordan to be speaker again. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Wild card, bitches. Can't really use my normal sign off, so